Arizona. I was actually with some friends. Oh, where are my friends that went to Arizona? They must have went outside. Oh, there's one of my friends that went to Arizona with us. So when we went to New Mexico,
You're right there.
well, I was close. New Mexico, I got some goodies. So somebody's leaving with these goodies. Can you see what they are? There's a dinosaur necklace, okay, and there is a beautiful, yes, an amethyst necklace, okay. So somebody's going to leave with these today. So we're looking for good behavior. But I also wanted to show you this. So this came from Florida. Can you tell what they are? Can you tell what they are? They are shark's teeth. But can you tell me about their color?
They're white.
They're beautiful. Look at all the little colors in there. I'm going to give out some shark's teeth. I dug these up myself, my family and I. And we're going to talk about why these shark teeth are this color. And these shark teeth, which I also dug up, are also different colors. Can you see that? When you think of shark's teeth, a lot of times you'll think of black teeth, but these are not black. Not all of them are black, and these are not black. The color of the fossil has to do with what? Does anybody know the answer? What determines the color of the fossil?
The minerals.
Yes, that's exactly right. The minerals. So if you have a black fossil, and I wanted to show you this real quick. So, and I want you to hear this. Can you hear the sound that's making? Can you hear that? It sounds like rocks, doesn't it? You know what these are? These are not rocks. These are bones. These are bone fragments that we dug up. We got them out of Peace River. Well, most of these came from Peace River, and this is a scoot off of a turtle or a reptile. So bones in the reptile scoots. So it sounds like rocks. They kind of look like rocks, don't they?
Yeah.
Because guess what happens? When a fossil is formed, that organic material, all the gooey stuff, the skin and the insides and all that is replaced by minerals when something gets fossilized. So let me ask you something. When something dies, when an animal dies, what happens to that animal?
It gets fossilized in the ground.
No, not typically. Not typically. What happens if mom or dad hits a raccoon on your street? What's going to happen to that raccoon?
It dies.
After it dies, what's going to happen? It what?
Decays.
Oh, you got a little sore throat. It decays. That's exactly right. What's another word for decay? Rots. Can you say that? It rots. In nature, naturally, when something dies, unless you preserve it, it rots, okay? The hair will fall away. The skin will rot. The insides will rot. This was preserved, right? Does anybody know what this is, by the way? No, it's not a squirrel.
Squirrels are pheasants.
I'm not. You know what a pheasant.
They're not.
Yeah, it's in the ferret family. It's a mink. Yeah, you can go ahead, and you can touch this, and you can show it to everybody. Absolutely. So, absolutely.
We're killing anything otter-like.
No, we did not kill him. So
We would never.
when an animal dies, what's left? Okay, and I didn't do anything to this guy. He is all natural. Okay, can you see? There's little pieces left and whatever. Okay, this is all that's left because the rest of him rotted away. That's God's plan. God made all life, and God made a cycle of decay to take care of things when they die. Are you weirded out by anything? Now, I got some bones in here. If you hold him. This is another turtle shell, and this is a turtle shell, just so you can see the difference. And you know what? I'll send you with this, and then I'll talk about these. And you can show them the turtles. So then next, after all the gooey stuff and the soft tissue rots away, what's left? Only the hard parts. So that's going to be your bones and your teeth, okay? Typically on an animal. Now, you see the color of this? This is a critter. He all fell apart. He died, and then his body just fell apart. You see the dark coloration of these bones? The reason he's dark colored is because this critter was left out in the air in the elements when he died. So let's say that mom or dad hits a raccoon on their way home, and that raccoon, oh, and this skull, I'll talk about this real quick. So this again, this guy, he was living his life and nothing's been done to him. This is natural. And all his soft bits rotted away and we're only left with a skull. Are these fossils? No, these are not fossils, okay? So there's a difference, and I want you to be thinking, I want you to be thinkers, I want you to be truth seekers, okay? So when things die, they don't automatically become a fossil. Is that true or false? True. And matter of fact, today, in 2025, we hardly ever see a fossil. And we're going to talk about why that is. Well, why do we have fossils from the past, but we don't see modern day fossils typically? Yes?
Because we get rid of them.
No, that's not the answer, but we're going to look at the answer. We do that, but no, that's not the reason. Yes?
The blood made all the other bones.
No, that's not it.
What is that thing? The reason we don't have this until 2025 is because we mostly bury them in the ground.
No, actually, because we don't have the conditions to make a fossil for organic material. Well, I want you to say that word with me. Organic. Organic. Organic material. Organic material. Say that. Organic material. That's a big word or two words. It just means that that thing was alive, plant or animal, prior to their death, okay? And if you're an organic material, are you made out of organic material? Yes. You're made out of the elements of the earth, right? So when I say organic material, I'm talking about a plant or an animal that was alive at one point, okay? That's all it is. Okay, so then what about this bone? Is this bone a bone? Yeah, it is. And I've got bone and choppers, teeth. This is the hard stuff, okay? I don't have skin. I don't have soft tissue. I have the hard stuff. I've got bone and I've got teeth. This is a mosasaurus. Can you say that? Mosasaurus. This is a fairly little guy. He can get great big. This is him. This is him. And actually, yeah, he could swim. Absolutely. And I have a bigger portion of him. But is that a fossil?
Yes.
I have bone and I also have a fossil. But my helper has, and that's another thing. So bone, teeth, and shells. This is a shell. Now, is this a fossil? No, it's not a fossil. Now, are there fossilized turtle shells? Yes. So what makes the difference when you have bone and some are fossils? Put your hands down for just a minute. And some are not. That's what we want to learn today. What makes a fossil? Very good. Okay, I want you to handle and see almost everything on this table, okay? So I'm going to be getting to it a little bit at a time. Hang on just a second. Let me cover this. Yes, you can. And do not touch the teeth. They're very sharp. Okay, so let's talk about fossilization. There's another big word. Say that with me. Fossilization. One more time. Fossilization. Fossilization is just simply organic material, that's a plant or animal that was alive, becoming stone. You mean a fossil is stone? I mean that a stone, a rock, is made out of what? Minerals. So when organic material becomes a fossil, guess what? All those tissues are replaced by minerals. Well, let's just talk about, if that's the case, then why don't we have fossils forming today? Can a fossil form today? Yes. But you have to have the right conditions, okay? Now, does it take forever and ever and long times to make a fossil? No. No. Did you know there is a fossilized plum that's in Florida? The person had an old refrigerator, and they didn't open that refrigerator for like a year. And they had a little drip that was coming down, drip, 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 drip. What is water? H2O. You have hydrogen, you have oxygen, and those things are called what? On the periodic table, they're elements, right? Okay? And in water, if the water is coming from the ground, as the water travels through the ground, and it's different everywhere, okay? Like I live in Hutchinson, and we have a lot of minerals in our water. The water that comes through this church has way more minerals than I have. We can't even drink this water. It's called hard water. Can you say that? Hard water. There's hard water and soft water. The harder the water, say this with me, the harder the water, the more minerals it includes. The harder the water, the more minerals it includes. That's exactly right. Softer water, less minerals, okay? Do you want hard water running through your house? No. Because guess what's going to happen? The thing that they say takes millions and billions of years is going to happen in your sinks, is going to happen in your showers. My daughters were in, was it Arkansas or Missouri or Indiana? Indiana, and they're going on and on and on about millions and billions of years for the stalactite and stalagmite. And then the lady goes on the next breath, totally believing that lie, and says, yeah, around here our water's so hard I have to scrape them off of my ceiling because they keep forming in my bathroom. So you can't have it both ways. You can't have long periods of time and then short periods of time. So that plum, it fossilized in less than a year. A man in Florida had a pet alligator. I don't recommend having a pet alligator. But he had a pet alligator.
That would be scary.
I have a pet alligator too, but mine's not alive. This is Chomps, okay? Chomps, was he alive? Is this a real alligator? Yeah. He is real. He is absolutely real. He actually was from an alligator farm. He was not killed. He died of predation. They had a fight and he lost. So anyway, he came from an alligator farm. He was once alive, okay? But is he a fossil? No. He's been preserved, okay? He's been taxidermied. That's right. Now you can look at him. We can pass him around. I'm going to pass him around actually. And who's that? Now, those teeth are very sharp. I touch them every now and then. Be very delicate because they'll pop out. But they are very, very sharp. So Chomps, he was alive, but he died. He didn't become a fossil. But this man in Florida had a pet alligator. The alligator died, and he buried him. Well, that sounds really good, doesn't it? Well, guess what? A hurricane or 2 or 3 or 400 came through and changed the landscape and whatever. And all of a sudden, with all the flooding and everything, guess what rose up out of the ground?
What? A fossil.
That alligator that he buried in less than 10 years. Now, it probably happened way less than that. Because there was so much water, and we're going to talk about the conditions to make a fossil, his pet alligator totally fossilized. Whoa. Can you imagine? That would blow away a lot of the rhetoric that we're taught in our science programs, in the schoolhouses. What do you mean something can fossilize in a number of years? What if I told you they could fossilize in a matter of weeks? That's not millions and billions of years, is it? No. Are there fossilized hats? Well, that's kind of a weird thing because a hat is not made out of organic material. But guess what? There's imprints. They're imprint fossils. And we're going to talk about that. Okay, shh. So to be fossilized, we need 3 things, basically. We need something that was alive. It has to be alive, okay? And then all of a sudden, burial. And the burial has to be complete and total. And the burial has to include water and some type of substrate. We're going to say mud slurry. Can you say that with me? Mud slurry. One more time. Mud slurry. What is mud slurry? Okay, if you have a flood, you have a water event, and that water comes. Anybody ever seen rushing water come through? How many of y'all are from Kansas? How many of y'all have seen a flood? Really seen a flood? Does that water move slowly or does that water move quickly? And you know what else is in that water? It's not just water. As that water moves through the land, whether it's a creek or a riverbed or whatever it is, and it's moving across the land, it's picking up material. It likes friends. It picks up rocks. It picks up dirt. It picks up sand. It picks up minerals. And it builds speed as it goes. So that, in a big picture, that mud slurry, it's got minerals, it's got substrate, which is sand and silt and soil, and it's got water. So we need a rapid burial all at once, and it needs to be totally covered, completely covered, and it needs water and it needs minerals. Because that, whatever was alive, can't have oxygen. Can you say that with me? It can't have oxygen. Because what does oxygen do to dead bodies? No, it does not preserve it. It does the opposite. It's part of that decay process. So you can't have any oxygen. You also can't have scavengers. Things that dig at it, things that pick at it, things that eat at it. So no oxygen, no scavengers. Say that with me. No oxygen, no scavengers. That's exactly right. Now, I've got another thing. So when typically what happens in those soft layers of earth is not only do you have scavengers that come from above, but you also have little critters that like to burrow. Okay? And they burrow down, little insects and little critters that love to burrow and come up, and a lot of them live under earth. They're part of that decay cycle too. So you can't have any oxygen, you cannot have any scavengers, and you cannot have any burrowing animals getting to whatever got buried. So to make a fossil, let's review. You need rapid burial. Say that with me. Rapid burial. You need complete burial. Complete burial. You no oxygen. No oxygen. No scavengers. And no burrowing. No burrowing. And then it's amazing. When this organic material, let's say this guy was alive, and they're buried, they're totally encased, all the pores get replaced. All that soft tissue, what made up that living being, gets replaced by the minerals that are contained in that water and mud slurry. Now, the water after Noah's flood, have you ever heard of Noah's flood? Noah's flood. That's the flood of Genesis in the Bible. You didn't just have a little bit of water. I want to read something to you. As a matter of fact, if everybody would relax, take a deep breath. Yes, and now close your eyes. And I want you to listen to this description. The flood of Noah's day was much more destructive than any 40-day rainstorm ever could be. Scripture says that the fountains of the great deep broke open. In other words, the earthquakes, volcanoes, and geysers of molten lava, scalding hot water, squeezed out of the earth's crust in a violent, explosive upheaval. These fountains were not stopped until 150 days. So the earth's surface was literally churning and turning underneath these waters for at least 5 months. You can open your eyes. The duration of the flood was extensive, and Noah and his family were aboard the ark for over a year. Think about the consequences of that. All land-dwelling, air-breathing life that was not on that ark, what happened to them? They died. That's exactly right. So that description, does that sound like a little rainstorm? No. It was very tumultuous. There were volcanoes erupting. So you don't just have normal soil. You don't just have normal tap water. You've got water that has extraordinary amounts of nutrients contained in them. And you have violent conditions going on. So it's just this big, big world event. Do you have a globe? Was the flood just here?
No.
Was the flood just here?
No.
Was the flood just over here? The flood covered the entire globe. How many continents out of the 7 do we find fossils on?
Every single.
Every single one of them. That's exactly right. Now here's a question. What kinds of fossils do we find on those 7 continents?
Dinosaur fossils.
We do find dinosaur.
Dinosaurs. Maybe some other animals.
We do find other animals. Hang on just a second. 95% of all the fossils we find are creatures from the sea. Can you say that with me? Creatures from the sea. That's 95% of all fossils we find. Why does that make sense? Does this look like I should find an ocean fossil? An ocean fossil? An ocean fossil? An ocean fossil? No, these are not ocean areas. But on all 7 continents, we find ocean fossils. What does that mean? Hands down. That means that there was an event that has to account for that. It has to account for what we see, what we experience, what we observe, what we find. And I want you to critically think. That means to think for yourself. Can you say that with me? Think for yourself. What does the evidence tell you? The evidence tells us that if I'm seeing sea creature fossils on all 7 planets, something big had to happen to all 7 continents. Is that what the programs on TV typically tell you? No. You know, I grew up in a house, maybe like some of you, I never went to church. Never went to Sunday school, never went to children's church, never went to vacation Bible school. And I went to the schoolhouse and they told me, I can't believe the Bible. They told me that it takes millions and billions of years for all these things to happen. And you know what I found out? That's just not true. That's not even what the evidence tells us. Would you like to look at the evidence of a crime and then just totally dismiss the evidence and you just send to jail whoever you feel like sending to jail? No, you want to go by the evidence. So let's go by the evidence. Now, this is kind of heavy. What do you think these are?
Shark teeth.
No, not shark teeth.
They're not fossils.
I know they are fossils. And listen to this real quick. You hear that?
Yeah, they're a lot of rocks.
These are all fossilized, and they're very heavy. Fossils tend to be very, very heavy, which leads me to another thing I wanted to tell you. But I'm going to let her pass this around, and these are hardy. You can handle these. They can handle them. You can take those around. Fossil, if you replace the soft tissue of an organic material, it's going to get heavier and heavier and heavier because those minerals tend to be heavy, okay? So this lady scientist was in actually the place that Buddy Davis was in, and her team found a T-Rex fossil. Now, is a T-Rex like a little dog? No. A T-Rex would be as big as this room, okay? Just about. I mean, this guy, and he's going to be tall too. So if you dig up a little fossil like that, you can handle that fossil, right? You can handle, well, I'm going to talk about that later. Well, this is a hefty one. This is an M right here. So this is kind of hefty, though. You can feel it. Be careful, it's heavy. Yeah, this is very heavy for your little hand. There you go. So, yeah, we'll send this around. So this is a fossilized ammonite. So this guy, I forgot what I was going to say, and I was leading into another story. Well, I'll get back to the T-Rex. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So this is heavy at this size. But can you imagine if that ammonite was as big as this room? So that was her dilemma as a scientist. She finds this T-Rex fossil, this enormous thing. So they get it out. And they hire, and there's still some rock that it's encased in. See the delicate work that Buddy did to get those fossils out of the land? They hired cranes and they tried to lift this big guy up. Too heavy. They hired more. Too heavy. So they had to make a difficult decision. If you have this great big fossil, how do you get it back to the lab? They made the decision to cut it. They made the decision to cut it, which is unbelievable. And God was at work that way because you know what? He wanted them to see what was inside of those bones. And guess what? You're going to cover this, aren't you? Inside of those fossilized bones. Now you saw the difference between fossilized and not fossilized. Inside, if you cut those bones out that Elena has, or you cut that ammonite open, do you think there's going to be red blood cells there? Do you think there's going to be stretchy tissue there? No. No. Because what's the first thing to decay? The soft tissue, which would be red blood cells and any stretchy tissue. That's the first thing that's going to decay or rot. But when they cut that dinosaur open and she looked inside, they were absolutely floored because they found red blood cells and stretchy tissue. That doesn't line up with their thinking, does it? Should you be finding red blood cells and stretchy tissue in dinosaurs?
No.
Right. But it was there. So that's telling us something else happened. Yes.
It died right before they got there.
No, but that's a good guess.
Well, it died, and then they found it a few weeks or days later, and the blood cells were still there.
That's a good thought process. And you're kind of close because let me tell you what happened. The dinosaur didn't die millions of years ago. It was much more recent than that. It can't be as old as they're trying to say it is because there would be no red blood cells or stretchy tissue.
Fossilize very, very quickly, which preserve that innermost part of that fossil.
That's exactly right. So when we talked about
Quick process.
that rapid burial and complete burial, there's no oxygen getting in there. There's no worms getting in there. There's nothing to break that down. It's just simply the minerals going into the tissue surfaces. Thank you. All right. So no, I'm not going to do any questions yet. So let's talk about the types of fossils. Let me turn this around real quick. There's lots of different types of fossils. Now we looked at the shark's tooth. I don't know if this will set up here. Thank you. So we looked at the shark's tooth, and I passed around some. So there's a couple different kinds here. Let me show you this real quick. So you have petrified fossils. This is petrified. Totally replaced by minerals. I want to show you this too. Now this guy is just gorgeous. What do you think this is?
A fossil?
It is a fossil and it has a really, I don't know if I can get the noise out of it, but I'm going to let somebody pass this around. This is a gorgeous model. If I turn it around, you might be able to tell me what you think that is. What do you think it is?
A mountain.
This is not an animal. I should tell you that it's not an animal.
Is it wood? Petrified wood.
It is petrified wood, and this is a remarkable one because it's got that beautiful crystallization going on in it. But it's stone. It is completely fossilized. Yeah, they can even look at it. So that is petrified wood. I have another. Here we go. These are all petrified wood. So this little one right here is all petrified wood. Hang on just a second. Let me get this. Let me see where we're going here. I have a wood one here. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. Whoopsies. Guess what this is a slice of? Oh, and you got to be careful. Did you see that little part come off? It's still got some delicate pieces to it. Isn't this a beauty? Isn't that a beauty? You can see the different colors of the minerals in there.
Hey, Miss Raven.
You know what? This could even be a fossil inside of this wood. Okay, you can, and so this is fossilized wood, or petrified wood, and she's got one too. So that's just the different kinds of it. These were all found at different locations. So those are petrified fossils. Here's another kind of fossil. What are these? Fish, that's exactly right. This,
fish.
exactly. So this fossil doesn't look like those fossils, does it? No. One thing you'll notice, what is it flat?
Yeah.
This is flat. That's exactly right. Why is it flat? That's a very, very good. So this is called a compression fossil. So what happens in this, and this actually came from Wyoming. And there's millions of these. There's millions and millions, there's bunches and bunches of these fish. At my house I have a bigger, oh, here's another one. Here's a sample up here of a compression fossil. And you know what? They find these, so my daughter said, oh, is that fish trying to eat that one? No, this fish is laying on top of this fish. But do we find fossils just like this where one fish was trying to eat another fish? Find them all the time. Did you know there's even fossils of mommies trying to give birth? And they're in the middle of giving birth and they're fossilized. How could that happen? You've got a creature, rapid burial, totally encased, totally submerged. You've got to have water. You've got to have minerals. You can't have any oxygen. You can't have any scavengers. You can't have burrowers. That's how you get a fossil. And the reason we don't see it very often today is because our water doesn't have near the mineral content that it had post-flood or during the flood or during the ice age. You've got volcanic material encased in all those processes. You've got extremely dense nutrient conditions going on, and that's how we get fossilization. Can you get a fossil today? Yes, but you've got to have a remarkable amount of circumstances. Now, have you ever seen a fossilized teddy bear? They exist. Now, what they did is there was waterfalls. This goes on right now. Yellowstone Park, you can get a fossil. Why? Because that super, super nutrient-packed water is geysing up. You know, the geysers that blow it up out of the earth, and you've got water, you've got heavy, heavy nutrients, and then you totally cover it, you can get a fossil. Okay, so this is a compression fossil. I'll let someone go around with that. I don't know if you can see this. You see this little yellow stuff right here?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what that is?
No.
We're going to pass this around. Do you have any idea what this little yellow stuff is?
No.
Max, what do you think this is? What do you think this is?
Fossil.
This is amber. Can you say that with me? Amber. Amber, a good name. Does anybody know what amber is before I say it? It is tree sap. That's exactly right. Amber is fossilized or preserved tree sap. Now, there's a little discoloration in this guy right here. I don't have a great example with me. Let me make sure before I say this. Excuse me. No, I don't have a good sample with me. Let me check this one real quick. No. But there are great specimens that you can find. You can actually buy them where inside of the amber you find all kind of creatures. You find a lot of insects. Why would you find insects in amber? What hangs around trees? Bugs, right? So that makes sense. So amber, this is called true form fossils. A true form is where the entire critter, we'll say critter, gets encased in amber. That's a good example. So you get the whole entire critter preserved, not just pieces of it. So do I have a helper? You can take this amber around. All right, very good. So we have petrified fossils. We have mold or cast fossils. Let me show you one of those. Oh, here's one right here. Do you see these imprints? Right here? So the actual little critter's not there, but the imprint of the critter is there. And I've got some more over here. Let me see if I can find them. Okay, let me show you this guy right here. Yes, yes. Okay, can you see this guy right here? This will be, I'll send her around with this. This is the imprint of a shell. These are by the gazillions you can find these guys. You can have that. But what do you think this, and I'm going to send this with you too. So this one has two things going on here. Can you see that print right there? But what do you think this whole thing is? It's a shell. Yeah, absolutely.
A clam.
A clam. That's exactly right. Okay, so let me see what we got going on here. Trace, imprint, compression, carbonization. Now, carbonization, that's something. Those black bones that went through. Now, there's something called preservation. Can you say that with me? Preservation. Okay. 1, 2.
Eyes on you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm still looking. And you know what? These shark teeth, they're only going to people, little boys and girls, that are not talking, not wiggling. Okay, so preservation. Say that with me. Preservation. Has anybody ever heard of a mammoth?
Yes.
Was a mammoth a little creature or a great big creature? That's right. Did you know that as big as a mammoth is, we find whole mammoths buried in permafrost? Does anybody know what permafrost is? Yes, it's permanently frozen. That's how it gets the name permafrost. We also find these specimens encased in ice, like a big iceberg or a big ice cavern or whatever, and it's the whole animal. And some of them were giving birth to their babies. And here's what's crazy. These are found where it's hot or cold. Cold. Yeah, you got to have cold for the ice. What do you think they found in their tummies? What kind of foliage, food do you think they found in their bellies? Mammoths eat, they're herbivores. Can you say that with me? Herbivore. Herbivores eat plants. Plants. Carnivores eat meat. Can you say that? Carnivores eat meat. Omnivore, can you say that with me? Omnivore eats everything. Yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But these mammoths, they're herbivores, so they eat plants. They're in a very, very cold environment. But inside of their tummies, the food was not digested. So what does that tell you if you're a critical thinker and you just found a berry mammoth and somebody's telling you that thing is millions or billions of years old, but their food in their tummy is not digested? That tells you something. Put your hands down for just 1 second. When that thing died, what does that tell you? It died quick because the food had no time to digest, right? So again, with that fossilization, you have to have rapid burial. Say that with me. Rapid burial, complete burial, no oxygen, no scavengers, no burrowers. That's exactly right. And that's what happened with the mammoth. So in their belly was tropical, ready? Tropical plants. Wait a minute. What's wrong with this picture? We got a huge animal, a very cold environment. The food did not rot, did not get digested in their belly, and they're totally preserved. Then we take it out. We take the food out of their stomach, and it's tropical. Tropical plants. Do tropical plants grow where it's very, very cold?
No.
No. Something's not right. Who's a critical thinker in here? Every one of you needs to be a critical thinker so that when somebody tells you something that's not true, you say, wait a minute. This isn't lining up with the facts. This isn't lining up with the evidence. This doesn't even make sense. And did you know it's okay to say, wait a minute, I don't think I believe that. And you know what? If you pray, God, will you talk to my heart? Will you talk to my spirit, Lord, and show me truth? He will do that for every one of you. Did you hear me? He will do that for every one of you. Okay, agatized. Now, I love agates. Does anybody in here know what an agate is? Okay, so look at my necklace. Do you think it's pretty? I think it's very pretty. For something to get agatized, you still have the same process going on. You have organic material being replaced by what? Minerals, nutrients. To be agatized, it has to contain something called chalcedony. Can you say that? Chalcedony. Is that word in the Bible? Chalcedony is beautiful, precious. It is in the Bible. So, an agatized, whatever it is, can also have other elements, but it has to have the chalcedony. And that kind of gives it its see-through-y kind of effect. Does that make sense? When you're looking for agates, I have a hard time when they're not cut open, but they say you can kind of see through them. Speaking of seeing,
Is that ammonite, agatized?
I don't know. I have to check it. It might be, actually. Does anybody know what this is? This is not a fossil. This is an opal, okay? Thank you. Okay, you see the opal now? And under a blue light, what color are you seeing?
Green.
Well, how are you seeing a green light when I'm shining a blue light on it? Because it's reacting to the chemicals, the minerals that are inside of here. Do all rocks glow like that? No. Some of them do, but not all of them do. I'm sitting here because I don't know how much more time. Oh, this was petrified wood as well. Isn't this beautiful? This side is polished, this side is not. This is unpolished, this is polished. This is not polished, this is polished. You want to see it?
Can I feel it?
Yes. Can I have a helper take this around?
Hey, Miss Reagan.
Oh, what is this guy right here?
Hurrah!
You get a surprise. I know this is not a fossil, but it is a stone. Yeah, this feels so good, but I got to show you something.
Wait a minute, Miss Sharon.
I'm
Is
t-
that my opal? Purple.
Isn't that beautiful? Can you say sodalite? Sodalite. This stone, this rock, can you see out there, contains sodalite. So the sodalite in the stone is reacting to the blue light. A helper can take this around. We got another helper? Here you go. You can take that around. Yeah, I know, it's awesome, isn't it? Oh, we're running out of time, so if everybody sits down, I'm going to send. Can I get a bunch of helpers? I want everyone to get to see some things. These are shark teeth. Some of these are fossilized, some of these are not, okay? Now, teeth and bones, they last a long time. Even when they're not fossils, they're the last things to go. So some of these are fossils, some of these are not. Here you go, sir. You can pass that around. We can turn the lights back on, maybe. I'm going to pass this around. No, I'm not going to pass this one around. Oh, let me show you this beautiful. This is probably agatized. This is an ammonite, which is a little sea creature. Now, if you came across him, this is cool, right? This side's cool. I'd be like, woo, I found an ammonite. I'm so excited. But then when you flip it over, this has actually been sliced. Did you know you can slice into stones? That's how I got my necklace, is this was sliced into. This has been sliced. Now, do not run your finger because this is very sharp on the edges. But you can see it, and you can also see some crystals in there. I'm going to give this to a helper. Maybe. A little bit. Yeah. Now, these come in all kinds of sizes. This is the same thing as that. This is not cut open. Okay, that's just not cut open. Did y'all see my snake skin? Did you see it? This is evidence of something that was alive. That's what a fossil is. Evidence that something lived. Okay? So it either shows the critter or the specimen or the evidence of life of that specimen and the activities that he did. Really cool here. What do you think these are? Fish scales. This is also a fish scale. These are actually fossilized. These are different kinds, but here's one that's not fossilized and one that is fossilized. Now, we're going to review one more time. This is another snake skin I have here. Yeah, he's big. This is this is just a little sliver of a megalodon tooth. Megalodon was a huge what? Shark. Exactly right. And he is fossilized. And that would be very sharp, like a knife. I'll let another helper. Can I get a helper to take this around? Very good. I'm looking if there's something else I need to show you before I go. Oh, my favorite thing on earth. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe it. I've got 3 kinds. I got 3 kinds. This is all the same thing. Any idea what this is? And these are all fossilized. It is dinosaur poop. It is dinosaur. I'm going to teach you a better name for it though. Coprolite. Can you say that with me? Coprolite. Did you think that poop could be fossilized? Poop is organic material. The minerals came in, the water came in, and what do we need to do to get fossilized? Rapid burial, complete burial, no oxygen, no scavengers, no burrows. And then boom, we got fossilized dinosaur poop. Okay, does anybody want to hold my dinosaur poop? Oh, I love it. I don't think it smells like poop. But here's, and this one, now if you didn't know what this is, you might have trouble on this one. But this does kind of look like what it is, right? You could be like, okay, and this one does too. All right, do I have any brave volunteers that'll take my dinosaur poop around? Not one? Uh-oh. We don't get to take it around. All right, one more time. To make a fossil, you say it with me, okay? Because our time has come to an end. And I am looking for these shark teeth. Okay, I am looking. We're going to get some recipients. Oh, I want to show you this real quick. These are just beautiful. Can somebody take these around real quick? This shows unbelievable minerals. These are all shark tooth. Some of them have kind of lost their shape a little bit, but they are just lovely. Oh, I have a poop volunteer. And what's the word for fossilized poop? Coprolite. Say that with me. Coprolite. Okay, one more time, then my time is up. To make a fossil, you need rapid burial. Say it after me. Rapid burial. Complete burial. No oxygen. No scavengers. No burrows. Excellent. I've enjoyed my time with you, and I pray that you have enjoyed your time as well.